The Galactic Military Academy's Weapons Engineering course had seen thousands of cadets from hundreds of species over its 3-century existence. But Instructor Vexthor had never witnessed anything quite like what the human girl was constructing. Elsa sat cross-legged on the workshop floor, her fingers moving with practiced precision as she shaped a curved piece of composite material. Around her, other cadets worked frantically at their stations. The Krillian twins were assembling what looked like a miniature plasma cannon, while the Xanthari delegation hunched over complex circuitry for an electromagnetic pulse device. "Primitive," muttered Thraxil, a 4-armed Gorvathian who occupied the station beside Elsa. His mandibles clicked with amusement. "The human makes, what, a stick?" Elsa didn't look up. Her hands continued their methodical work, binding synthetic fibers into a tight string. "It's called a bow." "A bow?" Thraxil's translator struggled with the ancient Earth term. "This is a military academy, human. We build weapons of war, not museum pieces." Instructor Vexthor's drone hummed overhead, its multiple optical sensors recording every cadet's progress. The insectoid professor's voice crackled through the workshop speakers. "Cadet Elsa, you have 30 minutes remaining. Your project appears incomplete." "It'll be ready, sir," Elsa replied, testing the tension of her bowstring. Across the vast workshop, Jixen caught her eye and grinned. The other human in their class was knee-deep in what appeared to be a chemical propulsion system, something combustion-based that had their instructor both fascinated and nervous. Humans, Vexthor had learned, had an unsettling fondness for controlled explosions. "Attention, cadets," Vexthor announced, his drone descending to the center of the room. "You have been given this assignment to demonstrate practical application of weapons theory. Each of you will now present your creation. Functionality will be tested. Creativity will be assessed. Lethality will be measured." The Krillians went first, their plasma cannons successfully melting through a reinforced target plate. Applause rippled through the room. The Xanthari's EMP device fried an entire bank of test electronics. More applause, then came Thraxil's turn. His weapon was a masterpiece of modern engineering, a graviton disruptor that could theoretically tear apart molecular bonds. It hummed to life, charged with exotic particles, and fizzled. The power cell had been installed incorrectly. "Disappointing," Vexthor buzzed. "Next, Cadet Elsa." Elsa stood, her bow in one hand and a quiver of arrows slung across her back. The arrows were handcrafted too, straight shafts with aerodynamic fletching and wickedly sharp points she'd fabricated from workshop scrap metal. The room fell silent. Then someone laughed. Then another. Soon the entire class was chittering, clicking, and vocalizing their species' equivalent of mockery. "She brings ancient projectile weapon," one cadet shouted. "What's next?" "Rocks and sticks," another added. Vexthor's drone rotated, its sensors focusing on Elsa. "Cadet, please explain your design philosophy." Elsa knocked an arrow, her stance shifting into something primal and purposeful. "My design philosophy is simple, Instructor. Weapons don't need to be complicated. They need to work." "Demonstrate," Vexthor commanded, gesturing toward the target range at the far end of the workshop. "With respect, sir, I'd prefer a moving target." The instructor's antennae twitched, surprise, perhaps, or intrigue. "Specify." Elsa looked up at the drone hovering 15 meters above them. "Your observation drone, may I?" The workshop erupted in gasps and murmurs. Shooting an instructor's equipment was unprecedented. It bordered on insubordination. Vexthor's species didn't have eyebrows to raise, but his drone bobbed in what might have been the equivalent. "That drone costs 40,000 credits, Cadet." "Then I'd better not miss." "Sir." For a long moment, Vexthor said nothing. "Then proceed. But know that if you damage Academy property without justification, you will be expelled." Jixen leaned forward at his station, a grin splitting his face. "That's my girl," he whispered. Elsa raised her bow. The drone, sensing potential threat, began evasive maneuvers, darting left then right, ascending in spirals. Its programming had been designed to avoid projectile fire from conventional firearms. It calculated trajectories in microseconds, adjusted for wind resistance and gravitational pull, but it had never encountered a human archer. Elsa didn't track the drone's current position. She watched its pattern, felt the rhythm of its movement. Her grandmother had taught her to hunt in the forests of New Montana Colony, patient, instinctive, connected. Technology could be hacked, jammed, disabled, But skill? Skill was eternal. She drew the string back to her cheek, her breathing steady. The workshop held its collective breath. Then she released. The arrow flew in a graceful arc, silent and swift. The drone juked left, directly into the arrow's path. The projectile punched through its primary optical sensor, spiraled through its anti-grav stabilizer, and embedded itself in the workshop's foam ceiling. The drone dropped like a stone. Vexthor caught it with a gravitational field mere centimeters from the floor. Silence blanketed the room, then Jixon started clapping, slowly at first, then with genuine enthusiasm. One by one, other cadets joined, even Thraxel, his 4 hands creating a thunderous applause. Vexthor examined his damaged drone, then looked at Elsa with what might have been respect. "Explain your success, cadet." "The drone's evasion algorithms are sophisticated," Elsa said, lowering her bow. "But they're predictable. They assume incoming fire will be energy-based or ballistic rounds with specific velocities. A bow operates outside those parameters. And," she paused, choosing her words carefully, "it requires no power source, produces no electronic signature, and can't be jammed or traced. In an era where every weapon leaves a digital footprint, sometimes the oldest technology is the most invisible." The instructor's antennae quivered. "You intentionally chose obsolescence as an advantage." "I chose reliability, sir, and unpredictability." Vexthor's translator emitted something that might have been a laugh. "Cadet Elsa, your weapon is impractical, outdated, and violates 16 standards of modern warfare doctrine." He paused. "It is also brilliant. Full marks." As Elsa returned to her station, Jixon approached, still grinning. "You know everyone's going to want to learn how to shoot now, right?" She smirked. "Good, let them try. It only took me 10 years to get that shot." "Humanity," Jixon said, shaking his head in wonder. "We bring bows to gunfights and somehow still win." "Not somehow," Elsa corrected, running her fingers along the bow's curve. "We remember that before we reached for the stars, we learned to reach for the sky. And that's a lesson the galaxy forgot." Above them, Vexthor's backup drone recorded everything, already uploading the incident to the Academy's tactical database. Within hours, military theorists across 12 systems would debate the implications. But Elsa didn't care about that. She simply strung another arrow and smiled. Sometimes the oldest weapons were the best weapons, and sometimes humanity's greatest strength was remembering what others had long forgotten.